the Republic of Kenya was one of the visionary member states which nurtured and protected TDB in its beginnings as we were finding our feet to grow and transform into the award-winning autonomous financial institution that we are today. One that has transformed into a group and that now has assets of about $8.4 billion under management. We also have several subsidiaries today and a much wider geographic footprint that crisscrosses the entire continent, including West Africa and Central Africa as well. Today, ladies and gentlemen, TDB boasts 47 shareholders, of which 27 are sovereigns and 20 are institutional shareholders. They come from different regions of the African continent, and we have two particular sovereigns that are new in this annual meeting today, and I'd like to just call out and welcome them. We have the Republic of Ghana and also the Republic of Senegal, who are now new members of TDB. And for those of you who wondered why we love these two countries so much, yes, we do love them, but they also happen to be the respective homes of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, which is based in Accra, Ghana. And of course, Senegal is the host country of the African Civil Aviation Commission, which we also lend to. So it always made a lot of sense for us to have these countries in our mix as well. I should also very quickly mention that we're delighted that the Republic of Botswana from SADC has also joined our membership. They come on the foothills of Mozambique and also one or two other countries in the sub-region there who had not been in our mix. And this just shows how we are coming of age as being the bank of the tripartite. The tripartite region, as you will know, refers to the COMESA Regional Economic Community, the East African Regional Community, and of course, the Southern African Development Community. This group of institutional investors that I referred to earlier on, today, together collectively account for almost $300 million of institutional capital invested in TDB since we innovated our capital structure. This is a symbol that African capital exists and is willing to invest in its own development in Africa.
As an African success story, TDB not only anchors our aspiration for regional and Pan-African integration, it repositions Africa as the emerging site of global transformation and complements our agenda of redefining our continent as the home of abundant opportunity and potential. This capacity to profile Africa effectively in terms of more possibilities and less limits is a significant contribution that unites the Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2063, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and a new approach to effective climate action and economic transformation. On this 39th annual meeting of the Trade and Development Bank, I see promise and I also see opportunity. I take this opportunity to appreciate the leadership of my good friend, Mr. Admasu Tadesse. He was among the first people when I was sworn into office to come and offer me some advice, which I take very seriously. Mr. Managing Director, I credit you for your great leadership and vision and the leadership you have provided to your team at the TDB, and you have our support as Government of Kenya and as a shareholder in your great institution. Congratulations to the entire group for your excellent achievements as were listed by the CEO. I wish you all good luck and great success as you continue to work the work of shining a light on Africa as the continent of the future. The critical imperative in integration is the elimination of barriers and borders and the intensification of connectivity through road, rail, port, and fiber optic networks. Investment opportunities are clear and compelling and also abundant in our continent. At this moment, Africa needs a development financing institution framework that can handle this unprecedented opportunity effectively and deliver transformation in terms of integration through connectivity, economic development, and climate resilience. This is why I am proud to be here today to celebrate with the Trade and Development Bank. TDB has demonstrated to us that it has been studying the African development landscape and evolving to meet its challenges. As a result, it has been growing and evolving steadily. The journey from the PTA Bank to DTB Bank has not been one of mere rebranding or superficial change. Our region signaled its irrevocable commitment to expand and accelerate economic integration when the preferential trade area transformed into COMESA for East and Central Africa, and its financial arm, the PTA Bank, followed. Only a decade ago, TDB had an asset base of $1 billion. It has since experienced a tenfold, almost, expansion of its asset base and is active across global financial markets, including New York, London, UAE, China, India, and Japan. The bank also has a commanding footprint across the continent with presence in Mauritius, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as its headquarters in Burundi. Most encouragingly, it is gaining visibility as a strong investor in strategic development projects. You've heard about the Lake Turkana wind power, and an effective partner in economic transformation. In fact, we in Kenya have witnessed the bank's capacity, dynamism, and expertise from close quarters. As a nation undertaking an ambitious trade agenda under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, as well as a continental and global leader in green and renewable energy, it has been encouraging to have the TDB as a partner in mobilizing financing for various initiatives and projects. We have to reposition ourselves. We have to reposition our continent in the context of the situation, the challenges that face the globe, and we have to reposition ourselves in the context of the assets that we have. Renewable assets, being the continent with almost 65% of uncultivated arable land, being the continent that has the youngest human capital, and being the continent that has the greatest potential for greening growth and ensuring that we decarbonize industrialization, decarbonize manufacturing. And we have to reposition ourselves, represent Africa in a different way, away from the continent that was always profiled with all the negative adjectives. Climate change has brought some measure of equality, let me say. In the context of climate change, there is no developing or developed country. We are all in the same place. And being there in the same place positions us as a continent to take advantage of the assets that we have, the renewable assets that we have, the human capital that we have. In any case, by 2050, a quarter of the world's population will be living in our continent. And because of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we have managed to assemble 1.4 billion people into one single market. And the place of DTB as a financial institution in that context cannot be taken for granted. It is my belief that TDB will be today $8.5 billion asset bank, but in the next 10 years, maybe 20 billion asset bank. That way, we can leverage on the increasing footprint of TDB alongside all the other institutions that we are developing in our continent. And that is why last week, during the AU media meeting, we proposed that TDB, Afrexim Bank, AFC, ATI be now elevated from being partners of the AU to being special agencies of the Africa Union, so that we can give this institution greater recognition, we can give them better profiling, and we can, as a continent, use their services so that we can grow their capacity to be able to support the trajectory we are all pushing of creating one market and working together as a continent to eliminate barriers to trade, to investment, to business, and be able to create much more prosperity, create more jobs, and position our continent appropriately, because it is on our shoulders to do it. Nobody will do it for us. Volatility in global commodity prices has always exposed the vulnerability of many economies. Often, prices of raw materials exported from these economies collapse drastically, while at the same time, that of such essential imports as petroleum rises steeply. Every episode of such crisis sinks our economies deeper into difficulty, weakening currencies, raising interest rates, and increasing inflation. The most fundamental legacy of COVID-19 now stands as the manner in which it exposed global inequality and injustice. As movement was severely curtailed by the closure of borders and grounding of aviation services, global supply chains were constricted and disrupted, leading to unprecedented distortion of market dynamics everywhere. Many developed industrial nations immediately redirected investments towards the development of essential supplies, including vaccines and protectives, which were stockpiled, exposing importing countries to a near catastrophe. The post-pandemic situation has been difficult, to say the least. We are still on a recovery path, rebuilding after the devastation of tourism, transport, and export sectors. Inevitably, we have taken a massive hit in terms of worsened fiscal imbalance and deeper debt, which has been worsened by the emergence of a high interest rate environment. The geopolitical tension that exploded into open conflict in Ukraine have also intensified this very difficult